Support the chairman, but just like what other members have said, it is indeed disheartening that a committee of 20 people, cannot have just one other person to come and support the chairman on the floor of the House. Then there is a problem. There is a problem. We leave it to our leaders that please, you will guide us and guide us very well, because this parliament must function and function properly. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak from the bottom of my heart. We have talked about institutions, but for me, we start from the top. We start from the top. And what is the top? The cabinet. I want to plead with this administration, Kenya Kwanza administration, or now broad-based administration, that please, every Kenyan has a right to feel part and parcel of this country, Honorable Speaker. If you look at the history, why revolutions start, it's about resources. It's about one feeling they do not have their person on the table. It is not only immoral, but amoral to have a cabinet of Kenya to have more than 50% from 2 communities, and yet we have more than 43 communities in this country. We want this spirit of the Constitution to cascade from the top to the ministries, to the public service, Honorable Speaker. That when a minister is making appointments, he must look at Kenya. It would worry no one, Honorable Speaker. Kenyans will not fight after every election if indeed leaders adhered to this constitutional requirement. That it matters not who sits at the top. We will get resources as taxpayers, our share. It matters not who sits there. What is due to my community will come to my community, Honorable Speaker. It starts at the top. You raised a very important point, Honorable Speaker, even about Parliament. That we create these laws, Honorable Speaker. We create these laws. But at the end of the day, how does the Parliament look like? Does it look like Kenya? Does it represent the mosaic of that fabric that Kenya is made of? No. I'll be bringing an issue to this floor, Honorable Speaker, about Kenya Revenue Authority. We spoke about the appointments that were done at the Kenya Revenue Authority. In this House, a matter was taken to court where, Honorable Speaker, almost 70% of people who were recruited at Kenya Revenue Authority came from 2 communities. The matter went to court. The court stopped the appointment of those people. But what worries me, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, those people are working. They're in the office. They're in the office. Impunity of the highest order. If the administration cannot listen to this House, if the administration cannot listen to the courts, then what country are we breeding? Honorable Speaker, I support my brother and say we must come out with more punitive laws to support this constitution. That if an appointing officer does not adhere, does not do that which the spirit of this constitution envisioned, what must be done to that officer? Because these people are appointed by people. We come here, make noise that they have appointed through obscured ways, but at the end of the day, nothing happened. For us, in the committee of this House that I chair, Honorable Speaker, we are growing towards very punitive measures. That if you are a head of an institution and appointing authority and you don't adhere to the law, we will recommend to this House that you are not fit to sit for that position. And I'm happy the tone, the spirit of my good brother, I'm happy coming from the government side, my brother. This is what we are talking about. When we were in the leadership the other day, we spoke about resources, allocation of resources. That is why people fight. That if Raila Odinga is not the president, I will not have my fair share. If William Ruto is not the president, I will not have my fair share. We must stop. And it begins with us and this house. And I want to urge the house that let's develop an nonpartisan approach to these issues. Honorable members, at the end of the day, we are members of parliament. Whether you are in sitting that side or this side, we are members of parliament. For once, let's have an approach that carries the mwananchi, that satisfies the mwananchi, that satisfies the spirit of this constitution. I support Honorable Speaker, but much must be done, and it must be done from the top to the bottom. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable John Kawanjiku, the MP for Kiamba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this debate. And I want to echo the words of my majority leader, my deputy majority leader, that the report is good from National Cohesion and Equity Committee, but it's not comprehensive, Mr. Speaker, because on the same angle, they're supposed to offer solutions and the way to move forward. Because even if you say one of the community is holding 70% of the jobs, you must also be able to, to describe or to calculate and say what is their percentage in terms of the population. Because you cannot give the same equal opportunity with a community that is holding 0.001% of the population and compare it with a community that is holding almost 40 or 30% of the population, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, that report is not comprehensive, Mr. Speaker. When you say that 17% of the community, one community, and you don't substantiate and say probably this community is holding this and this position, or they were employed between 1965 to 1980, or they were employed the other 2 days ago or 2 years ago, it's not weighty, Mr. Speaker, and therefore we cannot be able to pass such a report, because that's why I want also to believe, even if my member of parliament, my colleague, is saying that there is not even a single member to support from the committee to support the report, but maybe probably that's why we were not even sure that whether the chairman, that is the chairman's report, or is the committee report, Mr. Speaker, because it seems like chairman has also left, Mr. Speaker.
For the avoidance of doubt, the chairman is behind the consultation room here.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker. That's
and
why
is a very courteous chair. He informed me he was going behind here. You know the chair is a Muslim. A time comes when they need to pray. So it's just behind you here. Don't worry.
I want to agree with you, Mr. Speaker, but lack of members supporting, being in the House to support the report, it seems that something is missing in that report, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to tell the chair, even if you want us to pass the report as it is, there is a lot of things that are missing in that report. And I would suggest it's a good report, Mr. Speaker. It is talking about, promoting unity of this republic and of this country. And I would want to support, because sometimes, and I appreciate Wamboka, now we are having what you call a broad-based government. Before you were still in opposition, but now you talk like someone who is in government.